Hi, I'm Professor Burney in an interview with Robert Mentoff. Robert is a filmmaker and graduate of George Brown College. I'll be asking him questions about his experiences and ideas about filmmaking, with a particular focus on how his insights can be helpful to students in our film studies course. Welcome, Robert. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
At the start of the interview, I mentioned that you are a filmmaker and a graduate of George Brown College. So did you graduate in filmmaking from George Brown College? What's the story there?
I actually went into and graduated from the accounting program, and film is something I was always interested in, but I didn't really consider as a career path. And when I found out that George Brown had an elective, a film elective, I thought this is a really interesting opportunity to actually learn about film and the foundations of film without going to film school. And it just had happened that once I graduated, that elective program enabled me to kind of like speak the same language as people in the film industry do. And it really helped kind of push my film career forward as well.
Can you tell us something about what filmmaking work you've done?
Well, although my company is locally based here in Toronto, a lot of the work I do is actually overseas as well. For instance, this year I've been traveling back and forth from Nepal a number of times. Last year I was in the Middle East working on the Syrian refugee crisis, a documentary on that. And then a couple of years ago it was South America, all these different places. And the work has generally been either commercial work for commercial clients or documentary and experimental work. In terms of the commercial work, we've been doing a lot of interesting things with startups here in Toronto, based around technology, innovation, and things like that. But then in terms of the documentary work, it's been catered towards more socially responsible issues, different NGOs working on different programs and helping people, whether it be, a children's home or a school or anything to that extent. And that's kind of where the bulk of the work has been, is between these two spaces.
What unique experiences have you had as a filmmaker?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. It changes all the time. One week you're in Toronto, you're filming a tech company commercial, and then the next week you're out in 10 kilometers from Syria or in rural Nepal working on a documentary, and it's definitely emotionally draining, but it's really satisfying. Like a couple months ago we were in Nepal and I had to take a client meeting, meanwhile also having to film, and so I'm trying to take this call in rural Nepal on my phone while filming, and we're having very formalized meetings about the editing and how things are going and getting feedback from client, while goats are just walking through and just making all this noise, and I'm trying my best to stay professional, and then the client asks, like, what is that? And I'm like, it's goats. Like, I can't even lie to you right now. It's just, this is I'm in Nepal. He knew I was in Nepal, but it's just a really interesting scenario. And filmmaking does that. It gives you a lot of unique experiences. You meet a lot of people, you collaborate with a lot of people, and you see a lot of different things. And it's always different. That's what I love about it. It's never the same thing twice.
Can you tell us about your philosophy or perspective on filmmaking?
So my perspective on filmmaking is the power that filmmaking has to connect audiences to messaging. And, with our commercial work, the messaging is about buying and selling the client's product. So within the construct of the videos and the narratives, that's the end goal of the film. Versus the documentary work, such as the children's home in Nepal, that was more about a higher meaning and touching on humanity and us as people, and trying to relate that to audiences, versus the experimental work, such as the abandonment film in Detroit, that is more about the issue of abandonment itself as a theme and connecting that to us today. And although these are all different, all the films have different purposes, it's film that is the ultimate connector of them. So that's the box that we work within.
What thoughts, advice, or takeaway do you have for students in this course?
Film is a very deceptive medium, and there's a deceptive nature towards it. You go into a movie theater and you watch a film for an hour and a half, and then it's either good or it's bad. And there's a simple nature to that, right? It's been packaged a certain way, and you go in, you watch it, and you leave. But really, there's a lot of intricacies to filmmaking. There's a lot of crew involved. There's a lot of hours and labor and everything. And so this course sort of dives into the hows and whys of filmmaking, and helps you to understand why filmmakers made certain decisions. Why did the filmmakers choose to edit quicker or shoot only on a tight lens? Because although they seem subtle, all of these techniques have a psychological impact to you when you're watching a film. Like a Dutch angle has you feeling, strange in a way, and you don't know why. And the filmmakers chose this very specifically. And so I think the course will help you understand that and have a better experience when watching films. Whether or not you go into filmmaking or you just continue to do whatever you're doing, I think film is so big in our society that understanding the hows and whys are just going to lead to a better experience and a better appreciation to cinema overall.
So thanks, Robert, for giving us your insights into filmmaking. I'm sure everyone in the course will be able to benefit from them.
Thanks for the opportunity.